Raucous. Subscribe to Vincent Valentine EX Turk channel.
Your King and I, Vincent what's up, my Archvincent Chaos? It's your King and I, Vincent Valentine EX Turk, and since Jecht has been teased into Cydia, and I have not, and I know I said I was gonna get off Final Fantasy 7, 15, and 10's nuts for a while, but there's just some things I just can't get off of right now for a while. So I'm gonna get back on just this one for right now, and this is why Jecht was my favorite Final Fantasy X character. You know, and this is, by the way, this is the Black Mage's version of Overworld, just to be different. You know, but anyways, I think Jecht, the reason Jecht's one of my favorite characters is I can relate to him a little bit, you know, just a little bit. I mean, he's a little bit relatable, you know, except for the difference he was kind of a star. Everyone knew him. He was famous for his blitzball playing and, you know, yada yada and all that stuff. But Jecht is actually not really a bad guy, and I knew this all this time. He was forced to be Sin because he was the one who defeated Sin. So, you know, the rules, if you defeat Sin, you have to become Sin or something like that. Which was actually really done by Yu Yevon, which Yu Yevon is actually the one who got, you know, this started. And Seymour by lying about, you know, if he would have became Sin, Jecht would be free. But Jecht was actually an anti-hero as well. And one of my favorites because he was never bad in the first place. Yeah, he was a little bit abusive to Titus. And maybe he could have done a little bit better without the abuse. Just saying. But understanding Jecht's mindset, Jecht is a manly man. Jecht is one of those. Jecht is the ultimate gym bro. So he has a different philosophy than anybody else. That's why he hates it when Titus, you know, cries. That's why he gets agitated when Titus, when he says, "You always cry. Let me try it. You always crying. Stop crying." Sorry, it's a bad attempt to Jecht. My voice is not manly or deep as he is, and deep as his voice was. But anyways, but you know, it was actually for the good of Titus because Titus had to face the trials ahead of him. Because Jecht could, I have a theory that Jecht could probably saw what was going to happen. Jecht probably knew he was going to turn to Sin and ravage the world. So Jecht rather die by his son's hands. That's why that's why Jecht was like, that's why Jecht says the stuff he said during their meetup in that one area, the final area in Final Fantasy X, because he wanted to send. The reason he sent his son Titus in the future is to stop him. He wanted to die by his son's hands, meaning that he still loves and respects his son. Yeah, he doesn't look like it, but even in the spheres, once you pick up all the spheres that had Jecht in it, you'll realize he did everything for his son. You know, he did everything for his son. Even gave him clues to the far plane to see his mom one more time. He's helped also Yuna as well in her journey. I mean, so Jecht was not really a bad guy at all. He just didn't want to be Sin anymore. He didn't want the world. He didn't want his son to see a world ravaged by Sin when he turns into Sin. That's why Jecht was like, I won't be me anymore. You're just going to finish it. He loved his son so much, he wanted his son to finish him off and become the great hero that he could never have been. Even though he was harsh to Titus. Jecht had Titus's best interests at heart. He was a good and bad father. He's a bad father because he was a little bit abrasive and abusive and kind of shut down Titus's feelings, which caused division in their relationship. But he was a good father because he sacrificed his whole entire livelihood and life just to make sure his son Titus could live and defeat him and become the hero he never was. Jecht really did care about his son. That is just fact. Now, I'm not going to get people in the comments disliking this. I mean, and especially, SJWs. because, you know, he's not like an SJW friendly character, but Jecht was a true hero in my book. He was a true hero in my book. You know, he just had his own way of doing stuff. Like I said, Jecht is a gym bro, so he has a different kind of philosophy than traditional dads. And then not only that, Jecht knew he was going to become Sin, so he had to toughen Titus up. He had to make Titus, you know, see the world as a tough, harsh place so he can get stronger and travel with the summoner to send him away for good, so Sin does not ravage the world. But he loved his son so much, even said it in the spheres. You know, it was hard for him to do it because he's manly. You know, he's not the type of dude to go around saying, well, I love you. You know, he ain't the type to do that. You know, Jecht is not. But you know he does. And it's really not about the words he says, it's all the actions that Jecht took. Yes, well, it was overbearing. It was really overbearing. I mean, let's just be honest. You could in the real world, you couldn't parent your kid the way Jecht parents Titus, because, well, you'd probably get child protective services going up there and taking your kids away, and, you know, and since he's a star athlete, people would trash you all over the field and stuff like that. But, you know, beyond that, deep inside Jecht's heart, he just wanted what was best for Titus. He just wanted what's best for Titus. And trust me, in Final Fantasy games, there are worse fathers. You want to talk about bad fathers? Professor Hojo and Verstale are the worst fathers by far in Final Fantasy. Jecht, he's kind of a misunderstood character. That's what I liked about Jecht. He was very misunderstood. He was pretty misunderstood. You know, you had to actually get into the character and into the game enough to understand that, you know, Jecht purposely did all this just for Titus. It was all for Titus. Ever since it did take him losing his wife, which is Titus's mom. You know, it did take him losing his wife to finally wake up and realize, you know, his son was the only thing he had that was blood related to him. His best friend Braska's dead. He doesn't, you know, I don't even know if he knew Auron was alive until, well, he saw him in the form of Sin. You know, and, you know, I mean, after his wife's death, and that's pretty much a big loss, I think that's what caused Jecht to realize Titus is the only thing he has blood related to him until, well, Titus disappears and stuff like that. And depending on how you complete the ending of Final Fantasy X-2, Titus comes back or not, but Jecht doesn't because, well, he was Sin, which is really a sad fate. You know, you'd think that Jecht would be in the far plane, considering Jecht was never a bad guy. And matter of fact, I know this kind of sounds crazy, but thanks to Jecht's help as being Sin and attacking him a few times, he actually kind of helped Titus and them actually defeat Seymour, because they got to see Seymour's moves close up when Seymour was fighting alongside him to take out Sin. Meaning that Jecht kind of knew a little bit about Seymour and wanted Titus and them to take Seymour down. That's how come he didn't wipe out Yuna, Braska, or the Guardians, or Titus. But innocent people got killed because, well, you know, you're Sin. You're gonna do that. That's just... But he actually inadvertently also helped Titus beat Seymour because he exposed Seymour's fighting style to Titus before Seymour went all villain, which I'm pretty sure Jecht probably knew all along in his travels. I'm pretty sure there's one time in his travels he's met Seymour and just like, I don't like this guy. I just don't like him. And let's be honest, Seymour's not a likable character. He's as bad as Hojo. But anyways, those are the reasons why I think Jecht is my favorite Final Fantasy X character. And this is only Final Fantasy X character. Now, let me know in the comments what you think about the character Jecht, or what is your favorite Final Fantasy X character. What's your favorite Final Fantasy X character, reasons why, and everything. This is because this video is about reasons why Jecht is my favorite Final Fantasy X character. So let me know in the comments your favorite Final Fantasy X character and why. And may the crystal be with you.
Yo, Percocet, yeah. Miley Percocet, Percocet, yeah. Miley Percocet, rep the set, yeah. Gotta rep the set, gang, gang. Chase a chick, never chase a bitch, chase no bitch. Man.